It's like, terrible. Because they don't have anything worth spending money on.
All right, I will call to order the East Wildfield Township Board of Supervisors meeting, March 24th, 2026 at 6:33 p.m. First order is call to order, silent meditation and pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of note, there was an executive session held before the meeting tonight, March 24th, 2026, to discuss legal matters. On that course, since there are only 3 board members here, Mr. Crotty is going to go over our voting rules for tonight.
Yeah, so just to note for everybody's purpose, so you know, you can follow along like I'm sure you like to do. There's a quirk in the second class township code in that the forum for a board to take action is always a majority of the board, regardless of who's here. So to translate the kind of common speak, we have a board of 5. Even if 5 are here, 3 have to take a vote to pass something. If 3 are here, 3 have to take a vote to pass something. So if there's a motion tonight and it's a 2-to-1, that's not a passive motion. It would have to be 3-0.
Just so everyone, it was news to me as well. So I just want to make sure everyone understood what was going on.
That does not carry over to like planning commission or other bodies. It's only the board of supervisors.
Make a motion to approve the February 24th, 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes as presented.
I believe there was a correction that needed to be made.
Was there?
Yeah, I saw, hold on, here it is. I thought that was a second, that was supposed to be Wilson, it was listed as you.
Didn't catch that.
Unless that was,
You'll need to find the,
yeah,
so we can.
wow. It was, I'm sorry. Had to do with the change in the. I'm sorry. I promise I will find it. The ordinance to repeal. Page 12.
What's the item number?
5, 3.
You don't believe me, but.
Item 5.3, under the proposed ordinance 2026-02. Repeal the ordinance. Under the motion, Dombrowski made a motion to adopt the ordinance repealing.
I'll second it.
I second. Yeah, no, that's
No,
correct.
no, there was it was.
Yep.
Sorry,
So it was not that one?
amended.
No, the amended motion, you did not second the amended motion. That would have been
Correct.
Wilson.
That was what.
Okay, that's the correction there. Okay.
Correct, it was that one, right?
That was more details.
Sorry. I read through it.
All right, second, make an amendment.
Yes, well, you haven't made the initial motion yet, or it hasn't been seconded. So you can make your motion to approve the February 24th meeting minutes with the correction.
Okay. Okay, so I'll revise it. I make a motion to approve the February 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes with the correction that page 6, item 3, amended motion, Supervisor Dorado made the motion and Supervisor Lambert seconded.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Fire Department and Emergency Services, Westwood Fire Company Fire Chief report was submitted for review. Westwood Fire Company's EMS report was submitted for review. Modena Fire Company Fire Chief's report was submitted for review. Modena Fire Chief's Fire company fire chief's report, East Fallowfield calls only was submitted for review. Modena Fire Company EMS report was submitted for review. Yeah, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion approving a capital improvement payment of $87,032 to Westwood Fire Company for the Braun Chief XL ambulance from the Township's Fire EMS fund.
Second. Any questions or comments from the board?
May I actually ask a question? Do we know, because I'm new to this here for this part, do we know who else is also part of this outside of Valley? And the answer may, we don't know. Like, you may have to
Yes,
look it
can
up.
we?
Sure.
We ask,
Yep, sure. So yeah, Valley and East Fallowfield Township are the two that are paying for this because it is strictly a basic life support and advanced life support transport ambulance. So Valley Township's paying 75% of the cost, $348,000, and East Fallowfield Township's paying 25% of the cost. We base that on call volume and service demand. Last year, East Fallowfield actually was a little bit lower, 23.8% of the calls for East Fallowfield. However, for the last 90 days, we just did a rolling thing, it's 27%. So we're right in that middle. It usually averages right around 25% of the call here on East Fallowfield. So that's our estimate. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public?
Mike, one thing I wanted to add, I just wanted, this is informational, the township puts away, $36,600 every year for each fire department. So that's what the township contributes, total of $73,200. It's to be used for capital expenditures. So that money sits there in reserves, until the fire department comes to us, and they ask for it. And the reason we have it in reserves is so we're not scrambling to come up with money, when the fire department has a need like this for an ambulance. So.
Thank you. Back to any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all. Chief Osborne.
One up, we're excited to be here tonight to honor the 2025 Officer of the Year Award. The East Fallowfield Police Department is honored to recognize Officer John O'Donnell for as the 2025 Officer of the Year, selected by his peers for the second straight year. Officer O'Donnell exemplifies leadership, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to the community and his colleagues. Known for his willingness to lend a helping hand, provide valuable insights, and offer guidance, Officer O'Donnell consistently goes above and beyond his duties. As a field training officer, he played a role in recruitment and training of 2 officers in 2025, ensuring they were well prepared to serve the department and the community effectively. In addition to his field work, Officer O'Donnell, an 11-year veteran of the force, serves as the department's evidence technician. Officer O'Donnell completed a large theft and get investigation utilizing advanced technology and camera systems, resulting in an arrest of a burglary suspect in 2025. Committed to professional growth, Officer O'Donnell continued to expand his expertise by attending several advanced training courses in patrol procedures and leadership, further enhancing his ability to serve and support the department. Congratulations, Officer O'Donnell, on this well-deserved recognition. Your dedication and excellence are an inspiration to us all.
And of course, we're gonna need pictures. We see the family.
Yes, sir.
I have to bring them up for the photo.
What is it?
Vote.
You go first.
No photo motion.
Good work, guys.
Congratulations, Officer O'Donnell. Get that family up here, some pictures.
Everybody come on.
Get the board, in there.
This is here, isn't it?
Okay.
It's a fan.
Nice.
Nine. And more for good measure. Wonderful.
Hey, guys, wanna do everybody? You sure?
You can tell them otherwise if you want more photos. We have time.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Like you had
Well,
to leave
these are on
it, but-
tabs.
Okay. I can do tomorrow, we'll send it.
Good.
Look at all those kids coming through here.
Oh, see how long you've been for.
Treasurer's report, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the February 28, 2026 treasurer's report as presented.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope.
Any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion to approve the payment authorizations for the period of February 25, 2026 through March 24, 2026, in the total amount of $426,000. $426,117.79 as presented.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Dave, anything you want to add or explain?
Yeah, there's a good amount of money. Of course, check for the ambulance is part of that, 87,000. There's another 68,000 for the F-250. We had a small unexpected expense of $3,600 for,
Irma.
Irma.
Okay. All right, well, we usually run around 250, 300 most months, right?
Give or take, depending on what's going on. Yeah,
Understood, what we explained.
we had road salt, another 32,500, so
Okay.
there's a lot.
All right. Any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the establishment of a Harbor Freight commercial account for East Fallowfield.
Second. Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope.
Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Philip.
What is that for? Purpose of that?
That's gonna be for largely our public works guys.
As in tool purchases, stuff like that?
Yeah.
I would highly recommend against that. Harbor Freight's for like the guy who lives in, wants to fix his kitchen that doesn't know what he's doing and he needs that tool and that tool breaks after he's done using it.
Well, that's not my personal recommendation. That's the desire of our road crew. That's what they asked for.
Okay, the garbage tools.
Yeah, we see
Period.
this as a cost savings measure. And actually our road foreman brought this up to me. I mean, they would go to Hat's Hardware, they would spend $30 for a wrench. They could buy a wrench for $5 at Harbor Freight. So, again, we're looking, this is a cost savings measure for the township.
Everyone understand your point, Philip?
We've also.
Totally understand.
I defer to the public works if that's how they want to approach it.
All right, okay.
Good. Any other public questions or comments? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Managers report.
All right, good evening, everyone. Okay, first on the list of 2026 road paving program, just some information here. The township budgeted this year $318,953 total for road paving. $226,262 will come from liquid fuels and $92,691 will come from the capital fund. Not a great year to do road paving. Oil prices are very high right now. There's a lot of volatility. The board has, one other thing I wanted to mention, we are doing additional road paving this year. Separate from the road paving program, you might recall the board had approved the project on Sawmill Road. So Martingale Circle to Mortonville Road, that will also be paid, just not part of this project right here. That's part of the culvert replacement project. Board has a list of roads in their packet. They're recommended. The township engineer reviewed those, that list, and there is a list in the board's packet. One more thing I wanted to mention as well, because of the volatility in oil prices right now, the bid specifications, they're going to have an asphalt price adjustment escalator clause. Sounds pretty complicated, but it basically protects the township and the contractor. It simply allows for adjustments in the price of liquid asphalt. If it fluctuates more than 10%, either upward or downward, again, it would benefit either the contractor. It won't scare them away. If the price goes up more than 10%. There's some cushion for them, and if the price goes below 10%, there would be some benefit to the township. That's all.
I move that the Far Township authorize the advertisement to request bids for the 2026 road paving project to resurface Westchester Road and South Calhoun Road as base bid, 17th Avenue and Robin Road as alternate.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Bill.
I don't, you mentioned a list of the roads that are gonna get done, this season. Is there any chance that the corner of Strasburg and Buck Run, that intersection, if you're going eastbound, on Strasburg Road and you wanna turn, right on Buck Run, there's a crater there that has been there for an excessive amount of time. And Buck Run itself has a lot of patchwork. Is that on the list of roads?
Is that,
Do we know if that's
those are
on the
both
list?
state roads, correct, Scott? Your knowledge?
Strasburg is a state road.
Buck Run.
Buck Run, I think, is a local road. We can take a look at those right there.
Yeah,
Our
it's
road
just
crew
that
also
corner,
does.
You're making a turn, it's gonna eat tires.
Can we do that patch and not as?
I wanna say, I complained about that last year and they fixed it, but over the winter and now it's back to where it was
All right.
last year,
Yeah,
yeah.
we asked Justin to look into that.
Yep, we can look into that, sure. Thank you.
Point
Yes,
also on Park Avenue, Asplund Tree Company
State road.
did heavy cutbacks to protect their lines. During the time that they were there, a lot of the heavy equipment have really taken away the edge of the road on the east side of Park Avenue, where they worked. And there's a drop of about maybe 5 to 6 inches. And you can see it's working its way back. The road is working its way back toward the center because of the deterioration of that road bed. If it is possible, if you were not going to resurface or whatever that, possibly putting stone to prevent anybody taking their tire, just that could cause an accident, really.
okay. Scott, can we ask Justin to look into that as well, please?
I'd have to look into that. I'm not
Where
sure.
the
Park
Aspen
Avenue
is.
might be a state road. I have to double check.
Okay.
But we can look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Jane?
I don't know where we are. I guess this is a good place to interject it, but with Fieldstone, I know they still have not had their neighborhood paved. I don't know if that is still in the works. If we're gonna end up doing that work and would get paid from somebody or nobody or the HOA, just kind of a status on where that's at, because I haven't heard about it in a while.
So those are not township roads, those are all private roads, and under their HOA declarations, technically they're roads. But the township did initiate the writ and the demand against Travelers, which is the bondholder. And another attorney in my office is the one handling that. I did ask him for an update, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet on it, but I believe they did a site inspection between the attorney for Travelers and township attorney and exchanged documentation as to the status of the plans and that kind of stuff. But that's all I have for right now.
So if that is, I don't, what would the resolution to that be?
To get the money
Mhm.
from travelers, the million or so in the bond, and it wouldn't just be the roads that would need to be completed,
Yeah,
there's also
there's
stuff
other-
in there that needs to be completed. And then it will be working with the HOA for them to engage the appropriate contractors to finish that work.
Okay, and I think I asked before, I mean, is the township gonna be reimbursed from the HOA or that bond
So
for the
the,
work done?
so the idea would be the bond money pays for that, not the township. For that work.
No,
But what
he's asked about our
yeah.
legal services.
Oh, for legal
Yeah.
services, that's always the wish, but there's never enough of that money to go around.
All right, and just to confirm, Mike, Buck Run and Strasburg is a state road. Park Avenue is ours, so we will look into that. We'll notify PennDOT about their highway.
Justin can look into the corner of Buck and Stroudsburg as well, if we need to patch it.
Yeah, Buck Run and Strasburg is state, so we would notify PennDOT, but Park
Do
Avenue.
the work for them and get reimbursed sometimes, or they just have to handle it?
We would have to talk to PennDOt.
We probably don't.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to pave their road.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll notify them.
so you'll be in contact with
Yep.
PennDOT on that, and, we will have Justin out to look at Park Avenue.
Yeah.
6 months from now.
Yes, Jared. Sounds about right. We'll take that. All right, any other questions or comments on the road paving project? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Right, next on the list is the collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters, who represent the road crew. We have a, proposed agreement in the board's packet. It's a 3-year agreement for 2026 to 28. Just a few, some facts about the proposed agreement. The wage increases will be 4%, 4%, 4%, retroactive to January 1st. It also provides a one-time increase to the road foreman, his rate for 2026. That will help keep his pay consistent with other road foremans in Chester County. A few other changes to the agreement. There's a provision in there that in the absence of the road foreman, the township shall pay the foreman rate to an employee who has been designated by the township to act in the foreman capacity. That's new. We have some changes in overtime. Employees will receive time and a half for all hours worked over 8 in a workday. There's also automatic time and a half for hours worked during snow plowing and salting. I think this is a fair contract for the township and our road crew. I certainly commend the road crew for their hard work, and the proposed agreement is in the board's packet.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2026-2028 collective bargaining agreement between the Teamsters and East Fallowfield Township as presented.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Shane?
I just didn't hear specifically, did you say they would be paid time and a half for overtime with salting and plowing?
They're guaranteed automatic time and a half for hours worked, plowing and salting, correct?
Even during business hours?
Not during business.
Okay,
hours.
so
Yep.
it's like overtime pay. I got it. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's not necessarily overtime pay, it's overtime pay rate. So they could not work 40 hours in a week and still have
If they're doing.
overtime pay. See what I'm saying?
If it's a Tuesday,
I don't wanna get to it.
throughout the entire night, they wouldn't gotten over the 40 yet, but then they get that. That's what it was that.
Jeannie, right?
That was my same question.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next on my list is a request to waive trash for 99 Brandywine Avenue.
The request is here. I don't know if we're speaking again, sir.
Oh, is Barry here?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, so just information, the board has received trash fee waivers in the past. We have received them for vacant properties, and I know the board has waived those in the past for those vacant properties. The township has the ability to, it's a little bit easier to know if a property is vacant. But I just want to note that it would be extremely difficult for the township to monitor a property that is currently occupied. We'd have to drive by there literally every week to see if trash service is being used or not. And the other point I want to bring up is, the township is billed for each residential address, whether the homeowner chooses to use it or not. So if the homeowner's on vacation, the township, we continue to pay, whether that service is used or not. So I just want to bring up those 2 points right there.
I'll make a motion denying a waiver of the 2026 trash fee for 99 South Brandywine Avenue.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Shane?
Wouldn't we just take the cans away and there wouldn't be cans at that property? I mean, I don't think we'd have to look at that property every week if the cans were pulled back. Yeah.
I mean, we could certainly do that. It's not gonna prohibit somebody from, grabbing another can or using a different can.
So you're gonna take it from another resident? I mean, if we have trash can theft, I think that is something that could be addressed, but I think denying someone who's clearly not using the service and taking their cans should be. Yeah, I mean, that's,
Again, we're paying for the service, whether it's used or not.
if we did trash in-house, we could make better decisions about that stuff, but we don't do it in-house, right? We have a contract.
Correct, we did not do it.
So now that cost gets spread over everybody who's using it right now, minus one property, which is, we're talking about pennies for us and $450 for someone who's not using it. Like, I put out one bag maybe every week or two, right? Compared to someone who probably piles their trash and weight into their cans every week, right? So to me, that's an injustice, right? I'm not worried about him being approved if he's not using the trash, right? I'm more worried about me paying the same as someone else who's putting a lot more weight into, for tipping fees than I think this is kind of unnecessary to deny.
I'll take his cans and use them in my place. That way the money's not being wasted, because I can easily fill up 2 trash cans a week. So
I think we could all use two.
that way the money's not being wasted.
Very,
I've never used the trash service. There's no need, as I said. It just goes in the back of the trunk of my wife's car and she brings it right to the office. I have a 40-yard container. There's no need for me to do it. Now, I understand if you get billed on every person, just take, I don't know why you just can't take 99 South Brandywine off the list of what you get billed, but I don't know how your system works. But look, the rate that you charge isn't bad. It's less than $10 a week. I think that's a pretty fair rate. And I would be very happy to pay it if I was using it. I'm just saying, I've never used it. It's only been, I don't know, 30 years.
I understand, it also sets a precedent, so there's a bigger picture to look at. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but. Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Next on the list is a proposal from CompNet to transition to a cloud-based server. Just a little bit information here. Our township's physical server is nearing the end of its life. It's at least 10 years old. Our township's IT consultant from CompNet is recommending that we transition to a cloud-based Microsoft 365 account that will offer more reliability and less downtime. There is a proposal in the board's packet from CompNet in the amount of $3,960 to complete the configuration Microsoft 365.
I'll make a motion approving the labor proposal from Compton Inc. in the amount of $3,960 to transition the township's data from a local server to Microsoft Cloud storage.
Second. Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a annual fee or follow-on costs for this account?
So we'd have to purchase additional licenses, which would be about $1,000 a year to get those Microsoft 365 licenses. That would be our other expense.
And how much was budgeted for this originally? Do you remember?
Yeah, so we actually checked the capital fund. We've actually been budgeting for this for 2 years, but somehow this did not end up in the budget for 2026. So you should have moved it over. It didn't happen last year like we intended, so. But I think we budgeted actually 10,000. We were planning on a physical server.
We did a 12 and 11, 12,000 one year and 11 the next, and then it failed to get it in the 26 budget.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Yes, Shane.
What is our server downtime currently?
I mean, we don't track the amount of hours. Our IT consultant would probably know that. I don't have that information.
You said we'd have less downtime. I didn't know if that was quantifiable, right? If we did any sort of risk assessment, if we did.
I don't have that information. Our IT consultant would. It goes down. When it goes down, we call him. He would be able to track that information. I don't have that.
But we, in addition to the licenses for Microsoft 365, we would still be paying for the cloud service, right? Do we know what those estimates are?
That is the information I have right now, $3,960 to complete the configuration and $1,044 for those licenses.
So that's just the migration. So we have no idea what the cost is. We don't know what the cost is.
Right?
Sorry?
The licensing is a yearly fee. That
Yep, that's the annual.
That's just, that's just to have a license to have an account in Microsoft 365. You still have to pay for the hosting. You have to pay for the transactions in and out. You have to pay for the downloads and the uploads, right? Those can be very large costs. So I don't know if we know what those are, right? I also don't, I mean, there's a huge cost benefit or risk assessment on, do we have our own, I don't know if anybody's seen the Cloudflare stuff that's gone on. Cloudflare goes down and half the internet goes down, right? And that's happened a few times very recently. So having our own server here, if our downtime is negligible or it just doesn't happen with, then it makes sense to keep it in-house. I think this is one of those things that there's not a lot of technical skill in the room, myself included, who are IT experts, other than the IT consultant we're paying, right, who would get paid $4,000 to do this migration, right? Which seems maybe a little biased, that we probably should look into this a little more, right? In a little more depth and understand a little better and what we're paying for, what it's gonna cost, what it will cost taxpayers. How much would a new server cost? I don't know, right? I mean, it's 10 years old. But the fees for hosting your server in the cloud can get expensive. Right.
Have we considered that at all, Scott, or they mentioned that?
Oh, physical server?
No, well, all right, one is a physical server. We budgeted $10,000 previous years for it, right?
Yep, we looked at that in the past. And the recommendation from our IT consultant was to go cloud-based.
All right, but what other fees are we not knowing?
That's what I have right there. If there's additional fees, I have to look into that. I don't have that information.
Jerry was first, Jerry.
Well, just kind of continuing on that. So I just want to make sure it's clear. It's like, so, okay, this 3960, that's just a one-time thing. But then it's $1,000 a year. But, is that?
Just the license.
Yeah, but is it just a license or is it like what Microsoft is charging to use the cloud service?
That's not how it's transaction based. That's just the flat fee.
See, that's, what I'm,
Is that
the
true,
company
John?
was not, so that's what
I
I'm
don't-
wondering.
That's the information I have right there. $1,044 a year for the licenses and to complete the configuration, $3,960. I don't have any more information.
Can we ask for more clarification?
Yes.
Come back to it.
Yes, Phil?
As the manager already said, it's not in the budget. You don't get to spend money you don't have. Technically, I don't care if we got a gazillion dollars in the bank. That was not in the 26 budget. You don't spend that money. It's not there. We don't have it. I don't care how much money we have. We don't have it because it wasn't in the budget that we, the public, looked at, talked about, you voted on. If you didn't put it in the budget this year, make sure it's in 27's budget and then you can do it. But you don't get to just put it in you don't just get to add a line item out of nowhere for something that you don't even know how much it costs. You only know one number. You don't know the rest of the numbers. Until you have the rest of the numbers, and then in 27, when you have it in the budget, then you can do it. Because you clearly don't have enough information to pass this right now.
Yes, Shane.
If I can, there were some questions by IT professional residents that couldn't make it tonight. So it's just things to consider, and I can put these in the email or you can. What data is being stored? What's the life cycle of the data? Do we have retention requirements? Are there processes in place to purge data no longer needed? So we're not paying for the extra cost because you have to pay to store the data as well as moving in and out. Does the provider patch, maintain, support, and secure the cloud instance? What is the township responsible for? What protection does the township have to protect itself, residents, and the data if the cloud is compromised? I expect both active protection, encryption, backups, et cetera, as well as legal protections in contracts. How will the cloud service be accessed? If the answer is over the internet, there would be additional questions about security. What's the financial model? Typically, cloud services are billed monthly based on usage. Do we understand all of the usage billable items? The cloud charges for just about everything. What is being done to reduce costs and optimize the workload for the cloud? So that there's a lot of, you don't just take, a part of that is saying you don't just take what you have right now because it's our own personal server and then move it in, right? I mean, you can make it more productive, efficient, and like I said, just what files do we not need that we're storing? Because we're gonna pay to put all those files in. So if a quarter of those we don't need because they're past their retention requirement, that's gonna save us a lot of money.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
I'd like to table it if we can, to get more information.
We'll call for the vote.
No, nay.
Nay.
You can now amend the motion if you want. Since you didn't guess. Is that right? Correct.
Well, you don't really need to, because
Okay.
if it didn't pass, you just
We can
take it up
table
at
it.
next meeting.
Okay.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Cool.
All right, all right, next on the list, is a proposal to increase the cyber liability coverage for the township. Currently, our coverage, we are at only $250,000 in coverage. I am recommending that we increase our coverage to $1 million, which is consistent to what other townships our size have. Cyber would, if you look in the board's packet, there is a comparison between the cyber policy and the crime policy. It just kind of gives you a breakdown of what's covered and what's not. Ransomware payments can be expensive. So this is one of the things we encounter. We look at our insurance policy every year. We'd like to increase it. It's a small fee of $474 a year to increase it to $1 million coverage.
I make a motion authorizing the township manager to increase the township cyber liability insurance coverage from $250,000 to $1 million at an additional cost of $474 a year.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Yes, Shane.
How much are we currently paying for the $250,000 of coverage?
So our cyber policy is actually wrapped into our liability policy, so it's not broken down right now. So we receive one price, but we would not, we don't know the breakdown.
Have we had any ransomware incidents or anybody local in our area?
Fortunately, we have not, and that's testament to the good security we have here. And if it does happen, we'll have, hopefully we'll have a good policy in place to protect ourselves.
Others have though.
Yeah.
Delaware County last year was taken down, and a couple of municipalities.
And they had to pay to get it back up. I mean, it's just like ransom.
They got back up.
They don't advertise it, but they pay it.
But if we have backups of our server, it doesn't matter. You just go to the backup. I mean, this is where, and again, myself included, right? I'm not an IT professional. I'm sure an insurance company would love you to increase the liability coverage, right? But if we are secure, if we are backed up, whether it's on our own server, which I'm sure any server we buy, we probably got room to do a full backup, right? Then it doesn't matter, right? If we get hacked and ransomed, then we just say, okay, you can have that one. We're gonna go back to our backup and then we're good to go, right? It seems like it's only $474, but I mean, every dollar matters. It just seems unnecessary. I don't think it is justified if we have security in place and if we have backups of our server.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, Phil.
Listen, I don't know enough about computers anymore. I mean, I used to back when they were easy. Now they're too easy, so it makes them harder. So I don't really, it's not about that, but I've noticed whenever we bring up a change to something in our township, the comment is it's consistent with other townships similar to our size. the way that's delivered very much sounds like, hey, we gotta keep up with the Joneses. Do we have to keep up with the Joneses on everything? Is kind of my comment. It's not really a question, it's a statement, I hear it a lot, almost every other meeting, I hear consistent with other townships and communities of our size, consistent with, I'm like, Jones. That's kind of what happened with the first thoughts of a township building. Oh, well, other townships have castles, why can't we? Why do we need them? That kind of thing. So it's coming across very much that if we are just trying to keep up with the Joneses, knock it off. If there's more to it than that, say what it is, not just, oh, well, you know, Valley Township's doing it, so why aren't we? You know?
Comment received. So I hear you. I think it's just a way to provide benchmarking on where others are at and that we're keeping pace, not necessarily that we're trying to match them. Because
That's what I was
of
saying.
challenges.
It comes across that way, at least to me. I mean, not anybody else, but
And I understand your point of view, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just offering a counterpoint.
Yeah.
That's all. Yes, Jerry.
Yeah, my only comment with it is, if we're thinking of going from like a local server to a cloud storage thing, probably increasing our liability would probably be a good thing.
yeah, there's that.
No, because it's also
I
easier to
would
have
do
a
it.
backup.
I'd recommend it anyway. So, to Shane's point, Shane is not just damage or us getting locked out of our systems. It is also, there's an act that we have to do certain things if that happens, like we have to identify anyone's personally identifiable information that's been compromised, send notices out to all of them, do credit monitoring for all of them, and anything else. And like, if someone's data has been stolen and used in an improper way, that could create liability. So it's more than just first party damage to our stuff. It's also the third party reverberations of that.
Yeah, but if you said, I mean, we should know what that impact would be if there are things we're required to do. And if that impact financially might be $200,000, we're okay. If that impact might be $1.2 million, we don't have enough, right? I don't think right now you can quantify what that impact would be based on the requirements we would have.
You can't quantify until something happens and you get sued for
Well,
it or some kind of response incident.
You know,
but
if something happens,
it's gonna-
here's what you have to do, right?
It's gonna be over 250, the way that the world is trending. given the
You know
risk
that
that's
for
out
sure. It will be, I mean, regardless of what happens.
there. UPMC paid millions and millions of dollars for their breaches. Like, there's a list of local government or municipal agencies that had
Yeah.
data compromised on issues.
Is there any connection? And I've heard rumors, there's a connection between your law firm and this insurance company.
So it's not insurance, it's a municipal risk sharing pool. We serve as a counsel to it,
Mhm.
but we don't get money from it. We don't in that way. Like if someone buys a policy or doesn't buy a policy, that doesn't.
Would you call it a risk pool? Would you?
Yeah, it's a risk. So, traditional insurance like State Farm, any mom and pop shop can join.
Yeah.
Municipal risk sharing pools are just municipalities.
But we pay into that? Into
Yes,
PERMA
for liability protection.
and we're protected. So, I mean, it's insurance. It's just not State Farm, right? It's just for municipality.
Correct. It's liability protection. not
Okay,
insurance.
okay.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye. Aye.
Deb, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
Okay. All right, and next on the list is a grant application, Chester County Preservation Partnership Program. This grant request would be to complete the park upgrades at the parkland across from Seven Tees. We've talked about those proposed upgrades. Township's already secured $250,000 from DCNR. So this would be an additional request of $250,000, which would bring us closer to the budgeted project cost of $500,000.
That's for design and implementation.
The 500,000? The 500,000 is for construction, for the whole project cost.
But I mean, I guess the
Including
point is, we
engineering.
haven't designed or figured out, or finalized what's going in that area.
Correct, we have not.
We're lining money up for the
Yes.
eventuality.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-06, authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Chester County Preservation Partnership Program in the amount of $250,000 for park improvement.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
It was nice to see that the park committee is already giving some input to staff on, how, what final amenities might happen. So that process of taking the concept plan and then making it a reality is just starting.
Terry, do you have anything to input on this?
Do I have anything? No, we just discussed, as in the packet, we had talked about different ideas that, could be in place of the beach volleyball, which we did not want. Anything from a dog park to a senior fitness to a climbing, wall for kids and to basketball courts. And it was unanimously decided by our board at last week's meeting that we recommend either a full court or a revised full court or a half court in that same area where the sand volleyball was. And then we also, have some conditions that need to be looked at further on down the line, from security to lighting to bathrooms, but that's down the line, so we try to cover all our bases on that.
All right, but you're comfortable with where the process is proceeding?
What's that?
You're comfortable with the way the process is proceeding?
Are you comfortable with where the process is proceeding?
As in what?
Where we're at now and where we're heading?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I will not say Dina.
But as far as placement, of pickleball courts, I think that might need a little revision come closer to time to help, between landscaping and noise reduction to keep it down further, into the dip there and not to take all up the majority of the grassy field. So.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Nina.
Am I to understand this concept, that's going to take right now $250,000 is across the street, a Buck Run Road, from the restaurant 70s.
Correct.
This is a very bad idea. The intersection of Buck Run and 82 is extremely dangerous. You're going to have activities, noise, you're talking about plants to muffle the sounds. Unless you build a barrier wall so that people are not distracted by noise, movement, there's going to be terrible accidents there. Because people are going, as humans do, are distracted by sound and sight. To think to put that there, just because you have availability of virgin land there, just to put something, I think is a very bad idea. That's one of the factors. It's going to be monetary drain on the township for maintaining. Just because you have a piece of land that you think you have to develop, I don't think is a very good idea. And I don't know what the survey, if there was such a one, but I think people would rather have that land just the way it is. And I said in the previous meeting or two that developments have their own areas for recreation. They have their own pickleball courts, whatever. Sand lots, just that we have it here does not make feasible planning. But I will say, I mean, it will be a distraction. And again, you'd have to build something solid to prevent people from looking. You know that everybody here knows that intersection. Those two intersections are very bad.
Not at the intersection.
I can't hear you.
It's not at the intersection.
Well, that's what I just asked. I asked him if it's right across the street from Seven Tees, and he said yes.
It's in that corner. but it's
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's not at the
Not
intersection.
at the
It's-
corner itself where the sign
Yeah,
is.
it's more like on
See if I can
the
find my-
wood line.
There's the parking lot, the 70s, and this, it's all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can
What's
see it.
this? Is that the park? Is that the
No.
road?
That, this is like,
It's closer to down toward the police station, down that end.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Tina, you were on the committee last year for the open space committee, and this was part of it.
Are you saying I was on the open?
You were the open
No,
space
I wasn't.
committee.
Yes, you were.
You sat next
to me.
Yes, you came. You're on the list.
Oh, really? I
You
wasn't aware of
You
that.
came with, Simone Collins. And you were here.
There were public
And
meetings.
this is the,
This went
yeah,
through
public
everything.
meeting.
Oh, my goodness.
Process,
That was-
years of processes.
This is
I
where
still
the
say that's a
survey
bad
came in.
idea.
So new.
Thank
I
you for
still
your
say,
comments.
and I'm holding to it, because that is a distraction.
Interesting.
on top of that, I know a lot of residents asked why all this stuff can't be built in the loop, in the current existing park. And I know space isn't an issue, but maybe at some point during open space planning, that was discussed, right? Why we would pick this on this corner instead of inside the loop that already exists. Where there's already facilities, bathrooms,
I think the
parking.
loop's already allocated mostly, but I don't have a firm answer.
It's a massive open field. What's it allocated as?
That was part of that plan, if I remember correctly, from open space was to just have it as a multi-use field.
And I feel like there's enough room up there. It can still be a massive multi-space field. Or multi-use field, and have your additional playground and your pickleball courts and your basketball.
This was a recommendation. Like I said, that was why I started this with, nothing's been set in stone yet. It's still being designed. But this is what the recommendation, obviously the Park and Rec committee's addressing it.
But you already addressed it by saying, are you comfortable with that to her? So things are already in the channel. Things are already developing.
Yes,
for that
because to
particular
her,
area.
to the point for that was, there were recommendations from the open space consultant that recommended a beach volleyball court. Our Park and Rec committee disagrees and is recommending something else. And if they have an idea on if we need to locate it somewhere else in the park, we can listen to that. So we have a general idea of what we want to do. We're applying for grant money to facilitate the cost of it, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Right,
This
but
will be discussed further.
the Parks and Rec committee is one thing, but the number of residents, one that probably don't even know about this, right? And would have an opinion about it.
Okay.
And I know there was a survey done for the open space plan and it was umpteen questions, right? That not very many people took. So, I mean,
Turn out for that
it
survey.
was like 430 people out of 8,000 or whatever, even 5,700 registered voters, whatever, right? Not much. So, I think I think it's gonna be an eyesore. I think it will be a distraction. I don't think it needs to be there. I think it just needs another look. I think it needs more due diligence. I mean, this plan was done a long time ago, right?
Why wouldn't you put your park in the park?
This is the park.
We have
This is all part of the park.
Township owns that.
I mean, if I'm playing pickleball and I gotta take a leak, I can't go to 17s without buying a slice of pizza.
Well, as our chairman for the Park and Rec, Committee, this is one piece and we are anticipating if we build something near 70s, that's obviously too far from the existing bathroom, we would anticipate
Spending more money, right?
putting public facilities in to develop our
We had porta potties as
100
well.
acre park.
Up
You don't
until
have to
5
go.
years ago, we only had porta potties in the regular part of the park, only porta potties. We got that only after 10 years, so we can put porta potties on that side too. For the time being. They're pretty cheap for that.
Okay.
Keep this to that.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and next on the list, this is just an agreement. There's actually two agreements here. One of them is from TPD, one of them is from Pannoni. This is to provide construction management and construction observation. The proposal from TPD is a full-time construction observation proposal. And the agreement or the proposal from Pannoni is for part-time construction observation. We are moving forward on this project, scheduled to begin next month. This would just be the next phase right here. Yeah, it's the construction management and the observation portion.
I make a motion to approve the quote with Pannoni Associates for the construction management and construction observation services at a cost of $18,500 for the Sawmill Road Culvert Replacement Project.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I believe the 18.5, Mr. Manager, that's an estimate, correct?
Yeah, it's services billed for time and it's called time and material.
I mean, for this type of work, the construction process is what it is, but we do want to have our professional out there to make sure it's built according to spec
Yes,
before pipes are buried and pavement is put down and
correct.
what have you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Shane.
So this means someone will be out there full-time to monitor instead of just doing inspections like we do in the township with permitted work? Is that what the full-time and part-time means?
Pannoni is quoting part-time observation.
And the TPE was
TPD was asking, would only do it for full-time. I'd like double the cost.
So it's one or the other, is that,
Those are the two quotes we got.
okay.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the list is just informational. Township received a $5,000 grant. It's a 2026 PERMA loss control grant for AED devices. We will be purchasing these devices. It's under police. I believe we're purchasing 4, but I just wanted to put that out there as informational. This is one of the things we do to save money for the township. Small amount of money, but it will again help fund those 4 devices for the police department.
Are these the ones, chief, do these go in the police patrol cars?
Yes,
And they age out, obviously.
we have one from 2012 and one from 2020. 2014 still in service. Our 2 other units in 2021.
Okay.
What's the average life expectancy, just curious? 10?
It is 10.
Next on the list is appointments to the municipal building committee.
So the building committee met last night and recommended Joe McCormick and Shane Cloyd for the 2 vacancies, correct?
Yes, yes.
Chairman, I'd like to table this motion. I don't think it's right to tackle this without a full complement of supervisors being present.
Second. For a second. Questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public?
Yeah.
Yes, Shane.
Everything else that's been done tonight is okay without the full complement of the board? That's what you're telling us? Yeah, that's a question. Everything else is okay without the other 2 supervisors. But volunteer positions on a committee require tabling so that everybody's here. It's a question, right?
Good answer.
That's my opinion.
Is it required for those other 2 to be here, Mr. Crowdy?
Required? No.
So there's no reason to do it. There's no legal reason to table it.
If Supervisor Wright's making a motion to table it, even if everyone else wanted to move forward, and he didn't, it wouldn't pass anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. I need 3 votes.
Any other questions or comments from the public?
I mean, I don't know. Well, the one thing, I'm actually gonna stand up for this one because, regardless of the 2 not being here first, just want to say that as a resident, I completely support both of the candidates that have been put forward, to be assigned, or hopefully to be assigned to the building committee, as they both provide a wealth of knowledge and talent in the area of building and, engineering. In addition to that, though, again, unfortunately, they're not here to defend themselves on this, but I find it highly inappropriate that two members of the board that have proven that they are unethical and willing to break constitutional law be allowed on this committee or any committee, as decisions that they make on the committee will be voted on by themselves. So, and the other one, we'll have to wait until it's voted on.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Coming up, with you.
Voting
Motion to table.
Oh,
Motion
sorry,
to table.
sorry. Motion table, aye.
Motion is tabled.
And last on my list, just informational, I just wanted to mention the township's volunteer appreciation brunch is on March 28th. Just an opportunity to thank our community volunteers. Sienna Law is our premier sponsor this year of the event. And thank you for your contributions, Mike. And the law office of John Carnes has also provided support as a sponsor as well. So we appreciate their support as well.
Scott, do you have a head count? Just curious. I know we get a pretty good turnout from all the committees, all the volunteers.
42.
Yeah, great. And it's gonna be in Stottsville again this year.
It'll be like maybe about 45.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Legal.
First on legal is a tax exoneration request received from Chester County for the property at, I've got the parcels, so not the direction in front of me, but it's parcel 47-04-29.5. The county is noting that there's uncollectible real estate taxes. So they've sent a request to us as well as to the school district to request that we exonerate it because they're not gonna further pursue it. And the amount at issue is $541.28. That's just one time.
I'll make a motion to approve an exoneration of an uncollectible real estate property tax lien for tax parcel number 4704-2950 as requested by the Chester County Tax Claim Bureau.
Second.
This does relate to a mobile home that was removed. That's why.
So the property is empty or vacant and not even.
Correct, yep.
It's a very unusual case, but this sounds like it's it's applicable. It very rarely happens, I guess. Much.
Any requests have to come before you for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen it, so.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I'm sorry, and is this for in perpetuity, Mr. Crown?
No, it's just for the 20.
Just for the,
I've
okay,
filled.
great, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Actually, really, it's a 2025, though, will they be coming back in 2026? Is this
Well,
like
so
yearly?
it was on the mobile home that was there. If the mobile home is no longer there, then it's not gonna be on our 2026 tax rolls.
Okay, and was it privately owned land? Or is it through
It was a private mobile home, correct? The way
oh, okay, got it, yeah.
mobile home taxation is different because it's not a vehicle, it's not on the ground, it's on the structure itself.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Shane.
So the home is not being taxed, but the land is still has an assessed value, or?
The mobile home, they're requesting exoneration related to the mobile home, not the mobile home park writ large.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Next, the solicitor's report is the subdivision application for 1855 Goosetown Road. They're subdividing their lot into two parcels. a parcel that's about 2.47 acres and the other one's about 5.3 acres. And, we put a home on, there's already an existing home on one and there'd be a new home on the other one. So there is a form of decision that we prepared, which has all of our standard conditions, including that they comply with the engineering and township planning commission, review comments, that they, continue to comply with all relevant provisions of the ordinances. You have to add existing notes on, additional notes onto the plans, that were recommended by the township engineer. You have to confirm additional steep slope areas, which are also called out by the township engineer. And then, submit a grading plan for the work that they ultimately do on the lot for township review and approval.
And this, I forget if you said this, Mike, the planning commission reviewed it and recommended approval contingent on those.
It did, correct, yep.
I move the township approve the subdivision plans for 1855 Goostown Road contingent upon the applicant addressing all the engineer's comments for the form of the decision presented by the township solicitor.
Second.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, that's great.
Any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Next for 1513 Westchester Road, this is the one we discussed a month or two ago. With the elderly woman who had a stormwater pipe through her property. That the Township Public Works Department is replacing. As part of that, when they started to get into it, but haven't completed getting into it, she has a drop shed that goes over a portion of it, so they need to pick that up, move it over, then replace the pipe. The pipe's only like 8 inches under the ground, from my understanding, and then move the drop shed back. So, we just have our standard waiver form, hold harmless form that she notes that we will move it, we'll put it back, but if there's any damage to it, that we're not liable for it.
I make a motion approving the waiver of liability hold harmless agreement between East Fallowfield Township and Sandra Simmons for 1513 Westchester Road.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
All right.
Aye.
And that's all I have.
Great. Parks and Rec. You want to talk about any of this, Terry, or just get into motions?
Not about A, but I do have some comments about B.
All right, let me get to
On the
that first
report.
then. All right. Make a motion to authorize the township manager to sign an agreement with Showstoppers Unlimited for a summer concert series at the cost of $7,550 in the township's Park and Rec fund.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
This is our usual 3 concerts in the park, like we've been doing for, I think, 5 years now.
Yes, yeah, we've been, this is 3 concerts. The first one is on June 18th.
And I think we've already been advertising it, so yeah, it's all lined up for the summer.
Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Phil.
Who is Showstoppers? Are they just a group that organizes
Talent.
these? Okay, so like, they're the ones who find the musicians and all that?
Correct.
Okay, all right, yeah, I just wasn't sure if that was like a band and we were gonna pay them $7,000
Oh,
to
yeah.
play.
That'd be a good band name, Showstoppers.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
All right.
Aye. Barry, you wanted to speak?
Yes, Michael.
Yes, please.
Okay. I just wanted to present something that we have in the works. We'll be planning extensively for America 250 in the park on June 27th. There's going to be some extra cost affiliated with this event because we want to do it right. I've already got commitments from Chester County Commissioner office to come and be part of the event and to film it. Possibly Christina Sappy, but it is the Pennsylvania budget is right before the June 27th date. So she's on shore right now, but she's going to try to make it. And also we just heard thank you Denise and Sue for forwarding a gentleman that lives in Branford Village, does Revolutionary War reenactments. And he is willing at no charge to come and set up a sample encampment in period dressed people. He's gonna have some of his buddies come along. It sounds like a tremendous benefit to having America 250 in the park. We'll have our Star Spangled Bike Parade still. We are looking into getting a band to perform for 2 hours. We still hope to have the mainliners come in at the beginning. We're having food trucks, we're having bounce houses, face painting, but we really want to do this upright. So, and we're also doing a time capsule. We have the bench already made. I don't know if you've all seen, did I include the picture of the bench? I don't. The bench is here. It's made. The dedication is dedicated in honor of the East Fallowfield community on the 250th anniversary of the United States. So we're dedicating the bench and the tree and a time capsule. And the time capsules Jerry is looking into for us. We wanted to invite we want to invite the elementary school children for each class to put in something into the time capsule, as well as residents. And we buried that by our bench. And John Nielsen, who's a tree tender, actually suggested instead of the white oak to put in it's nicknamed the Liberty Elm. It's an elm tree, but it's a fast growing tree. And because the Sons of Liberty met under the Liberty Elm back in the 1700s, it would be appropriate to put that tree there. We talked about dedicating this bench at the beginning of the day, having supervisors, Scott and area businessmen, Mike Petro expressed interest, Jim Petro, to come and be part of this, to dedicate the bench down by the flagpole over by the playground, and then eventually move to a permanent location, which we have chosen a site up kind of on a hill up by the gazebo, but that's not definite yet. We also wanted to have a patriotic birdhouse competition with area residents as judges. We want to invite people that are woodworkers or, just have some kind of knowledge of construction and bird species. We plan on having raffles. I mean, it's going to be a huge event. So I would like to just put it out there that in the future, I'm going to be coming at you for money. Because we don't want to skimp on this event. I mean, it's only happens and we're not going to live to see the 500. So that's all I have to say on
Well,
that question.
Park has $236,000, so
We have
if
that.
you're gonna spend it, this is a good event.
Well,
Legal has 270,000.
what's that?
Legal has 270,000. They're not
Oh, some of that, yeah.
Bill,
Well,
not
anyway,
invited.
I mean, I know we're now 9,000 on our event this year, and we do have other events.
You have your-
This just happens to be the one we want to go all out. So, the concerts are great, we'll continue to do the concerts and we'll continue to do the, touch a truck and, I forget what the other one was.
Rescue rally.
Yeah, the rescue rally is coming up actually in May. So in April 19th, by the way, come help clean up everybody.
Did you say we were still looking for a band?
Well, I'm not sure yet. The name's been a couple band names, but if you have anybody that you want to contest, reach out to me. You know where I am.
Just so you know, the Amish outlaws are not in our price range. That was suggested to us and they are way too expensive.
But we have $236.
$30,000.
Let's burn it.
30,000, 25 to 30. So no, we're not getting that. Oh, wow.
It's very.
Yeah. the
Thank you, Sherry. Planning Commission report was submitted. Police Department, police February police report was submitted for review. Do I have a motion?
The purchase of new automated,
Yes.
I make a motion approving a proposal from VE Ralph and Sons to purchase 4 AED devices in the amount of $4,774.
$4,774.
There's extra numbers there, $4,474 under the PA CoStarz program for the Township's Capital Fund.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Chief, any comments?
Yeah, this would be covered, very closely to the $5,000.
Didn't we just already pay this?
That was,
We funded it.
yes, the grant that was awarded by the insurance company, so.
I kind of figured, but I'll give you a chance to speak.
Yep.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Do I have a motion? Make a motion stating the purchase of a 7-year, 100,000-mile premium care extended service plan for the flood, from flood for at a cost of $1,965. Which vehicle is this for?
This is for the new, 26 Interceptor that we bought, earlier this month.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah.
Any questions or comments from the public? Yes, Shane?
Do all of the police vehicles have 70 or 100,000 mile warranties?
No,
Can we, I mean, how old was the one that had the engine replacement?
it was a 2019.
So it wasn't 10 years old? Or sorry, 20.
It's
So
7 years old now.
was it just over the, did it have a warranty?
It did not. It had the factory,
Okay.
3-year, 36,000, 5-year, 100,000, factory warranties that they came with back then.
Yeah, I mean, I think since we had to pay to replace an engine, it might be prudent to get 7-year, 100,000 mile warranties or extended warranties, however far into the life they are, just as prudent insurance, right? Not just for new ones.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Chief, anything else you want to talk about?
Now, it's a new fleet plan that the township manager and I had developed since I arrived here in 2023 to purchase these extended warranties with very low deductible, $100 deductible. As we've witnessed, and I guess the public has noticed over the past 2 years, our aging fleet has had significant repair costs that could have been mitigated had this type of plan and forethought been implemented many years ago, but it was not. So we are trending in the correct direction, but we won't see necessarily the benefits of it financially for years to come.
Understood.
I know one resident asked if we could buy foreign cars, do we have to have American, because maybe they're a little more on the. Yeah.
There is a myriad of issues and problems with foreign cars related to the manufacturer of the specialty equipment that needs to go inside the vehicles. So then you get into a cost effectiveness related to the cost of a radio housing and a cage for criminals and seats for the back seat and all the different police specific aspects of the vehicle that, you know, if we were to buy, I don't know, pick a model, a Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
The cost to have that essentially custom built would exceed whatever benefits you might feel that you would be receiving.
I'm sure there are other places that use foreign vehicles, like in Japan, they probably use Toyota Camrys, right? So they have all the equipment, it would just need to be fabricated and installed. I don't know if it's an option, if it's a feasible or cost-effective option, but other than that, I mean, we could get a foreign car if we wanted to, right? I mean, money's no object. There's nothing that forces us to get a Ford or a Chevy.
No, it comes down to reasonableness and responsibility and the fact that we can get a Ford Explorer for $46,000, which is quite attractive, and then have it outfitted at the lowest possible cost to taxpayer and, you know, utilize a vehicle that we know we have the option of getting a 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty. It's also a hybrid, which saves fuel costs, but adds complexity to the vehicle, which again,
It's covered.
helps with the warranty,
Yeah.
you know, so there's a lot of moving parts to, hey, you know, why don't you have a Maserati?
you know what I mean, and make that a police car. It's just not feasible. There need not be exercises in these extravagance of, hey, this will be a great idea because it's kind of already been thought of and explored and therefore must not be cost effective, because if it were, it would be being done.
Yeah, a resident question, just figure out. Thank you.
Hopefully that answers it.
Public Works, February Road Department report was for review. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve a proposal from Smoker Doors, $7,210 for the replacement and installation of a new garage door and related hardware to be funded by the township's capital fund.
Second. Which door, Scott?
This is on the, Public Works garage. We had an inspection done. Our road foreman, had someone come out and determine that it was unsafe. So this is a safety issue to get that replaced.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
I've used Smoker for my personal garage. They were great.
Any questions or comments from the public?
They're a good company.
I've used them
No,
as well.
seriously.
Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Historical Commission report submitted for review. Any old business? Scott, any updates we need to know about?
Nothing right now, no.
Any new business? Public participation. I think everyone's familiar with the request for brevity and courtesy. Any public comments? Yes, Dina, if you can come up.
Nina Peter, 40 Park Avenue. Long-term resident. I want to bring something to your attention, my neighbors. Sometimes when a citizen comes to a meeting, they have a concern. Sometimes township supervisors say their comments are, well, why don't you volunteer? Okay. Well, I want to bring this to your attention. A person did volunteer to become East Battlefield tax collector, duly elected on November 4th by a write-in, as a write-in candidate. He was willing, and he is willing to do this job. We have Berkheimer now, an outside company. I'm sure we have some stipend to pay them to collect your taxes, my taxes. I know several months ago, I brought it to the board's attention and to township manager, Mr. Swisher's attention, that perhaps we should look at a township treasurer to collect. But this individual willingly had his name on the ballot, was a write-in candidate. He received it and won on November 4th. County commissioners, all three, certified this man to be East Battlefield Township tax collector. He brought it to the attention of the township office, in which he was received with a dismissive and rude reception, and said that Mr. Swisher would get back to him on that particular topic of new appointment, or actually selective office. Mr. Swisher said that the office was ceremonial and did not need to pursue. This gentleman did not need to pursue the office. In my opinion, I feel this is the present of the voter's voice. We are looking politics over people. We are trying to save money. We look at grants that are $5,000 and willingly accept it because any small amount would be helpful. we pick and choose where we want to save money. But when a person duly elected has been suppressed, we are suppressing the vote of the people. Perhaps we should have this looked at by our solicitor. This is of the people, the man came of the people, for us, for the people, and we voted him by the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, one thing I wanted to add on that, I did reach out to the elected tax collector. My understanding is that he never submitted the paperwork to the county. And I did reach out to the collect, I can't remember his name to find out if he had submitted. I never heard back from him. But, my understanding is he never submitted the paperwork to the county.
Was that after you told him it was ceremonial, didn't need to do it?
I don't remember.
Why would you say something like that? For an elected position, why would you say it's ceremonial?
You said it was ceremonial, yet you knew for a fact that there was some paperwork. The man wrote in that his, and it was accepted by the county. 3 commissioners certified it. So, Mr. Crotty, maybe we ought to have a conversation there.
No, but it's, in order to get, you have to get elected, of course, but then the county requires you, I don't know what he did or didn't do, but the county does require you to file paperwork before you actually get elected in the office. It
That is
sounds
if
like,
That's if your name is on the ballot. You have a certain number of days to get your
You
petition.
still have to do some paperwork.
Yes.
because I
you still have
Yeah,
to do additional.
But
I'm
that conversation happened before the paperwork was due.
I mean, do you want to talk about us using another firm as opposed to the elected person? Which is standard practice.
It costs more money.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you more money, because you, Nina, you noted that it was, I think you tried to characterize it as a volunteer. The tax collector is not a volunteer position.
No,
The
he
tax
understood
collectors get
that.
a comp-
He understood that.
service.
And so did, I believe, the office too.
But they would be commensurate with one another, or it would be cheaper to have this tax collector over a firm?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's pretty egregious, but
Yes, it is egregious. I wanted the public to know.
Okay. Any other public comment? Shane?
I'm glad you turned this around, so I didn't have to. First, and I know I talked to you about this, Mike, you know, if you want to put in a driveway, you got to get a permit, you have to go through engineering because wastewater runoff, et cetera. But you know, if someone has 2 acres of trees and they want to cut them down, unless, I think there is a code, and you might know, Mr. Carney, that if you're harvesting and you're making $1,000 or more, then there would be some process. But if you just want to cut down a few acres of trees, which would much more significantly impact water runoff than putting in a driveway, I don't think there's anything in place for that. I think it's, well, one, I don't think we need it for either of them, but you know, that's just me. Less, you know, less code, less ordinances, less laws. But it seems like a big imbalance. You know, if I have 90 acres and I want to cut down 40 acres of trees, I'm allowed to do that, and that's going to affect probably some major neighbors around me or even my own property. I don't know if you had a chance to look into that at all.
I have not.
Okay. Which brings me to the next topic, a dashboard of action items, right? A dashboard of what the township's doing, a 1-pager. I know they made a lame attempt at having an updates page that's never been updated since, you know, right around the election when Claire was here and was actually getting things done. But what are the action items that are going on right now? I know Scott wrote down a few things. Hey, go look into these things. Go talk to, you know, Justin about some road issues. Go contact PennDOT. It'd be nice to keep a list of those actions and, you know, if we've completed them or not. Infrastructure issues, grants. What grants are we writing? What is the township doing, right? It'd be nice to have some visibility into that. And then complaints would be great too, but I know they're not public. They're not subject to right to know requests. And we could absolutely, as Nina said, we could save money on, I'm sure, bringing tax collection in-house. I have no doubt, save money on bringing trash collection in-house. Even having an IT committee of residents, like we have other committees, instead of paying a consultant a lot of money, there are people who are very good IT professionals in our township, and I'm sure they would love to
lend their services, volunteer, and, you know, either help strategize or make these decisions, or even migrate to a cloud server, for not $4,000. But again, I'm not the professional. I think we really need to look into the IT stuff. I think it would help benefit the township to have an IT committee because I don't think anyone who works for the township is very knowledgeable, and we're leaning on a consultant that we're paying a lot of money. So dashboard, I would love to see. I mean, it'd be nice to have a snapshot on one page of what is actually going on in the township right now, what we're planning to do, what we said we would do and we haven't done yet, which happens quite often. You know, like Fieldstone update could be on there every week, you know, like, where are we? Give me every week or every few weeks, just put an update. Nothing happened, right? Like, great, that's an update. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Philip?
So every month I ask the same questions, so you know what that's gonna be, but before I actually ask it, it seems like our Board of Supervisors doesn't think it's their responsibility to review ordinances, make changes to them, eliminate them, add them. They rely on this guy. That's not how it works. It's also not the board's only job to vote on what the committees come up with. You're supposed to be legislators for our township. That is your job. Have one of you written, you are not the chair.
Thank you.
I understand the purpose of the committees. I understand that it's just easier to vote on what other people's work is. But you're allowed to do some work too. I mean, how many of you guys have a hard copy of the ordinances of our town? Because I know if I were sitting up there, guess what would be in my bathroom? Binder that thick. And that's my toilet reading. Just to read every ordinance this town has, just so I can learn if there's something in there that's been in there since 1952 that just doesn't belong. And we get rid of one page. Now it's this big and this big and this big. So any of you, any new ordinance changes of your own that you wrote?
I'll respond. I don't want to eat Philip's time.
No, we'll take it.
Okay. Just by chance, a few months ago, I sent Scott and Mr. Crowder an email saying, hey, are our timber harvesting ordinances up to date? I'm seeing where I'm reading
127.
that maybe,
You did that.
so it was something I came across my dashboard, if you will, and I gave it to the professional, and it turned out Mr. Crowder gave us advice. Hey, yeah, that's probably, that came an action item, which I think then goes before our planning commission and then.
Right, I made a note of it.
So you have an excellent point, Philip. I just want to let you know that it does happen every once in a while.
And then the other question, ideas, implementation of something that relieves our tax burden. Have any of you written anything up? Do you have any action plans for anything? Or is that just another, we'll rely on Scott to come up with an idea and we'll vote yay or nay? Because I mean, yes, he does come up with ideas, but doesn't he have other stuff to do too? I'd like to see you guys do a little bit of work on the two most important things. Our taxes and the rules. Oh, and I did want one other thing. I'm sorry, I got 20 seconds left. About the police cars, I was gonna bring it up, but then I was curious if we could fuck the system and finally start making our police and police cars actually recognizable. What is the purpose of having a black car with black reflective material on it? That you can't, you know why they have in Europe, why they wear bright colors and neons? So you can see where the police are, so you know who to go to. Because it shows, it projects friendliness. I just because everybody else is wearing black and has black cars with writing you can't read. I remember when the Parksburg police, the phone number was on the side of the car. Is the phone number on the side of any of these cars?
It's not on one bill.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No, not if it's not an emergency.
still.
No, I'd rather call the police station and say, hey, by the way, this isn't an emergency, but there's this thing you might want to take a look at. I just think it'd be, since we're buying new cars, that maybe it's time to be different. and not be stealth and militarized looking, and why can't we be friendly?
And real quick, Philip.
Yeah.
I do have all
The code book.
along with the comprehensive plan at my disposal. I do not take it to the bathroom with me, unfortunately.
Mine just happens to be electronic.
Mine's that one.
I like big.
Binders.
I appreciate you having it right there.
Any other questions or comments or, sorry, public participation at this point? Yes, Nina?
I want to make sure, I think the last time I was here, I said about the audibility of comments coming from our elected officials. It is difficult to hear you and, you really, I asked too, if you would use your mic system. And otherwise it's moot, no pun intended. But, it's got to be used. You have it, if it works, please use it.
If it doesn't.
If it doesn't, yeah, I mean, we should be able to hear you and you hear us. We have a tendency to project because we feel we have to, the distance there. But, we need to hear you.
Thank you. Any other public comments at this point? I make a motion to adjourn at 8:09.
Second.
Thank you.